Nigeria mourns Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tarid Lagbaja. President Tinubu directs national flag be flown at half-mast in honor of the departed Army Chief. President Tinubu congratulates U.S. President-elect Trump, looks forward to strengthening ties between Nigeria and the United States. Livestock experts, hopeful of new Ministry of Livestock Development, will create millions of job opportunities. Hello and welcome to the news desk at 6 on Nta News24. We are live from Abuja. I'm on Lajide Bello. Members of the Federal Executive Council under the chairmanship of President Bola Tinubu have honored the late Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tarid Lagbaja, by postponing the council meeting earlier scheduled for this Wednesday. State House correspondent Musba Adam will have reports on the mood at the presidential villa earlier today.
It came a tale of a refreshing moment ending in heartbreaking mode. The newly appointed ministers who came for their first attendance arrived into the welcoming hands of the old ones. And council members were set for another round of a brainstorming session. But then, the interesting moment was soon short-lived. Vice President Kashim Shettima announced the decision of the council as directed by the chairman, President Bola Tinubu.
We have suspended the council meeting today in honor of the late Chief of Army Staff. May his soul rest in happy. Let's observe 1 minute silence in his honor.
The nation is in mourning. The president and the entire government is in mourning. He was indeed a very resourceful officer who has put it in best to fight insurgency in this country and for the many achievements he has succeeded while serving this great nation.
He was a gallant officer, very, very hardworking. He was indeed a warrior. He has served in so many theaters and have done commendably well. It's a very sad loss for the country. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to receive him and to bless him.
We send in our condolences to the family of the deceased and Mr. President, because it's a great loss to this nation.
Major General Tarid Lagbaja was born.
Late Lieutenant General Tarid Lagbaja, appointed in June 2023 as the 27th Chief of Army Staff, passed away Tuesday night. Second to die in this capacity in 4 years after late Lieutenant General Ibrahim Attahiru, who died in a plane crash near Kaduna International Airport in 2021. The acting Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, visited the President for situation reports.
Very passionate about Nigeria, and he led the Nigerian Army very well. He was courageous. He was known to be thorough and a professional to the core. So it's a big loss to us.
Just a day before, President Bola Tinubu, in his capacity as the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, promoted and decorated the acting Chief of Army Staff to a new rank of Lieutenant General. Now, whether he will be confirmed as the substantive head of the army remains to be seen in the coming days. From the State House, Musbal and Wahab, Nta News.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has expressed regret over the death of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Abiodun Lagbaja, after a brief illness at the age of 56 years. A statement from the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation indicates that President Tinubu has directed that national flags be flown at half-mast throughout the country for 7 days in honor of the departed Army Chief. He appreciates the services of the departed to the nation and wishes the family the fortitude to bear the loss. Our defense correspondent Ismail Musa has a tribute on the late Chief of Army Staff.
Happy to announce that Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved payment for the initial 12 MD 530 Foxtrot KU's attack helicopters.
Born on February 28, 1968 in Lobu, Osun State, he attended St. Charles Grammar School and the local authority teachers college before admitted to the Nigerian Defense Academy in 1987 as a member of the 39 regular course. The late Chief of Army Staff was commissioned as Second Lieutenant on September 19, 1992, joining the Nigerian Army Infantry Corps, an alumnus of the prestigious U.S. Army War College. He earned master's degree in strategic studies, demonstrating his dedication to professional growth and excellence in military leadership. He played a pivotal role in numerous internal security operations, including Operation Zaki in Benue State, Lafia Dole in Northeast, Udoka in Southeast, and Operation Forest Sanity across Kaduna and Niger states. He was appointed Chief of Army Staff by President Bola Tinubu on June 19, 2023. Until his death, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja served as Nigeria's 27th Chief of Army Staff. His death marks the second time in 3 years a Chief of Army Staff has died while in office. He is survived by his wife, Maria Abiodun Lagbaja, and 2 children. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, Nta News.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Defense, Muhammad Badabaru Abubakar, and Minister of State for Defense, Bello Muhammad, extend heartfelt condolences to the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Nigerian Army, and the family of the demise of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Abiodun Lagbaja. In a statement, the Director of Information and Public Relations, Henshaw Ogubike, describes the death as a great loss. The late Chief of Army Staff contributed in no small measure in the internal security operations across Nigeria and also exhibited high level of professionalism. He will be greatly missed by the family, the military, and the nation as he served the nation with commitment and dedication. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has expressed shock over the death of Major Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, describing him as a fine officer who gave his all for the territorial security and unity of the country. In a condolence message, Akpabio said the death of the late Chief of Army Staff came at a time his wealth of experiences needed, and his death is a huge loss to the country. He prayed Allah to grant him Al-Jannat Firdaus and his family the fortitude to bear the loss. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has paid a condolence visit to the widow of the late Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, at their Abuja residence. She was accompanied on the visit by the wife of the Vice President, Hajia Nana Shatima, the wife of the Chief of Defense Staff, Ohoho Musa. Commiserating with the widow, Maria Lagbaja, the First Lady, describes the death of Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja as a big loss to the nation, especially at a time the Nigerian Army, under his leadership, is putting everything on the line to tackle insecurity in the country. She says the late Army Chief, through his life and contributions, has left worthy legacies that the family and the nation can be proud of. She led a special prayer for the repose of the soul of the departed, also asking God to strengthen his widow and family at their grieving moment. The late Chief of Army Staff passed on at the age of 56 on Tuesday night. The Office of the National Security Advisor and the National Commission for Al-Majiri and Out-of-School Children are working modalities to return 10 million school children back to school. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has the details.
Illicit small and light weapons comprise assorted firearms illegally acquired by criminals. Proliferation of these arms tend to amplify terrorism, banditry, secessionist agitation, armed robbery, and other violent crimes. Through coordinated internal security operations, some of these criminals are apprehended and charged to court with these weapons as exhibits.
This gathering today serves as both a call to action and an opportunity to reinforce our commitment towards safeguarding Nigeria's security landscape.
It's not limited to small arms.
This workshop reviews the custody of these arms in line with global best practice.
What the center is trying to bring on board is international best practices, where such weapons used for the prosecution or for the commission of heinous crimes are returned to the agency of government. And the only agency of government that has the statutory powers to have the custody of such weapon after judgment is the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons.
The event also highlights the duty of a prosecutor in ensuring forfeited arms do not get back to the wrong hands. The National Center for the Control of Small and Light Weapons, established in 2021, recently destroyed more than 2,000 small and light weapons in Giri, Abuja. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Donald Trump has been re-elected as the 47th President of the United States of America. Akanendule takes us through his journey back to the White House.
Donald Trump has sealed a historic victory in the U.S. presidential election and completed his stunning political comeback. The Republican comfortably defeated Democrat Kamala Harris in what polls had suggested would be a very tight election, after he swept several key battleground states and won a commanding lead in the national popular vote. He becomes the first former president to return to the White House in more than 130 years, and at 78, the oldest man elected to America's highest office. Claiming victory at a rally in Florida on Wednesday morning, Trump told supporters that he will usher in a new golden age and restore America to greatness. His victory marks a dramatic reversal in fortunes for the billionaire. He left office in 2021 with plummeting approval ratings and the country reeling following the Capitol riot, which saw his supporters attempt to violently block the certification of his loss to Joe Biden. He narrowly avoided conviction in the Senate after becoming the first president to be impeached twice by the U.S. House. He later became the first former president to be convicted of a criminal offense after being found guilty on 34 counts of falsifying business records. But he announced his return to frontline politics in November 2022, beginning the campaign that would eventually see him sweep aside challengers in the Republican primaries and claim his party's nomination for president. Trump was the target of 2 assassination plots over the course of the campaign, narrowly avoiding a sniper's bullet in Pennsylvania in July.
Meanwhile, world leaders are congratulating the re-elected President Donald Trump, including President Bola Tinubu, who extend his heartfelt congratulations to President Trump on his re-election. President Tinubu looks forward to strengthening the ties between Nigeria and the United States amid the complex challenges and opportunities of the contemporary world. President Tinubu says, together we can foster economic cooperation, promote peace and address global challenges that affect our citizens. The President, in a statement, President Tinubu, Trump's victory reflects the trust and confidence American people have placed in his leadership. He congratulates them on their commitment to democracy. President Tinubu believes that given President Trump's experience as the 45th President of the United States from 2017 to 2021, his return to the White House as the 47th President will usher in an era of earnest, beneficial and reciprocal economic and development partnerships between Africa and the United States as he acknowledged the United States' global influence and power. You're watching the News Desk at 6 on Nta News24. More reports will return.
The dreams that our founding fathers envisaged are still work in progress. Every day, we put our hands on the plow, determined to do a better job of it. While it is tempting to focus on what has been left undone and where we have stumbled as a nation, we must never lose sight of how far we have come in forging and holding our country together.
Thanks for being there. As part of an effort to strengthen regional cooperation and integration in the West African sub-region, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, met with the President of the Republic of Guinea-Bissau, Umaru Sissoco Embalo. The formed part of Nigeria's diplomatic engagements to address key economic challenges and stability of the West African sub-region. Garba Natala reports that the Minister and his delegation entered a closed-door session with the aim to foster constructive dialogue, deepen trade relations among member states, and advance regional cooperation. Yusuf Tuga also advocated Nigeria's bid to secure a permanent seat for Africa at the United Nations Security Council, as well as secure a seat at the International Court of Justice. Guinea-Bissau's President Umaru Embalo promised to support Nigeria in its cause. Similarly, in the Gambia, Yusuf Tuga met with the Vice President Mohamed Jallow. The issues discussed centered on political stability, security, and strengthening relations between Nigeria and the Gambia. Advocates of gender inclusion are seeking a redesigning of gender-sensitive policies that combine technology with social development with focus on a meeting global agenda for inclusivity in economic development and equal opportunity of political rights in Africa. Oluseyi Adiagbo reports these conversations at the ongoing 2024 Africa Women's Conference in Lusaka, Zambia. The African Women Congress, an initiative of Helpline Social Support Initiative, a Nigerian-based non-governmental organization, and ECHO's Africa Initiative New York, is a platform for robust dialogues to birth productive partnerships and gender policy options. The Congress, 8th in the series, is themed Digital Advancement, harnessing its potential for African women.
About the need for us to have inclusivity, bridge digital gap, particularly as it concerns women, because that is the only way that women can be empowered, truly show this huge potential that has been deposited in them. And if a woman is empowered digitally, there's no limit to what she can achieve, which is why AWC thought it wise to come and discuss more about digital advancement for women and harnessing its potential.
Africa as a whole, based on the work at Pan-African Parliament, we are moving together because we've come up with some model laws that are expected to be adopted across the African continent in how we shall handle, this digital space and take the maximum advantage from it.
So we're hoping that at the end of this program, we'll be able to develop cost-saving and fast-tracking innovations that women can also benefit from and be able to join into the information superhighway.
That many countries that could have been behind, who have, ignored, the need for women also to access and also advance in technology. Through interactions like these ones, people exchange ideas country by country, and so we use this opportunity like an opportunity to learn.
Experts in the livestock sector are hopeful that the new Ministry of Livestock Development will create millions of job opportunities for stakeholders within and outside the livestock sector. This is while setting agenda for Ministry of Livestock Development. And Good Morning Nigeria, Ekemini Williams reports.
Establishment of a dedicated Ministry of Livestock Development in Nigeria has been described as a long overdue step in the right direction towards food security and improvement of the livestock sector. Key players in the livestock industry also believe that With adequate funding of the new ministry and demonstration of willpower by the minister, the perennial farmer header crisis will be brought to an end.
You know, one of the problems that has remained a recurring decimal in this country is this transhumance migration, where there are crises. But then we expect the ministry to go into very strong advocacy. Before we started on the plateau here, it took us about 2 years going into strong advocacy, making people to key into it, and disabusing their minds from believing that bringing the livestock on board is about rehabilitating the Fulanis or doing it for the Fulanis or moving every livestock to a particular place.
They suggested areas of concern the ministry should prioritize, such as ranching and livestock data collation, training of stakeholders in simplified languages and formats, establishment of abattoirs in every senatorial district, and robust deployment of technology.
Ministry of Agriculture will have to come into play. But as you know too, all over the world, governance is predicated on humanitarian services. Governance is predicated on poverty relief. So with the coming on board of the Ministry of Livestock, I want to see a very strong synergy too with the Ministry of Humanitarian Relief and Poverty Reduction. And in that way, we'll be able to achieve one of the 6 pillars of the National Transformation Plan, which is economic benefit.
Like now, in northern states, rain have stopped. If you go there in the next 2 months, hardly you see anything an animal can feed on. So something is supposed to be done within this gap to keep them in that particular area.
There are 2 key functional departments in the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security that will serve as the initial anchor of the new ministry. And these are the departments of Animal Husbandry Services and the Department of Veterinary and Pest Control Services. These departments happily are manned by highly trained professionals with broad experiences in the livestock industry. And these 2 departments have institutional memories of what has been transpiring. They have records of all the policies and programs.
The experts further advised stakeholders in the livestock sector to be amenable to progress and support the new Ministry of Livestock Development. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, Nta News.
The role of National Biosafety Management Agency in safeguarding human and animal health and environment in an era of global challenges like climate change, pandemics and food security has been emphasized. This was during the 7th edition of the International Biosafety Conference held in Abuja. Nta Daniels reports.
Agriculture makes up about a third of Africa's GDP and employs around 50% of its people. Yet Africa spends more than 50 billion a year on food and agricultural product import and has around 65% of the world's uncultivated land. We have more than enough land, but we don't have enough food.
The 2-day conference, which brought together experts spanning across the food and environmental value chain, including policymakers and researchers, centered on the theme, biosafety, an indispensable tool for achieving food security, health improvements, and environmental sustainability.
For our dear nation Nigeria, with a rapidly growing population, climate-related challenges like insecurity, flooding, and drought, and an ever-expanding agricultural sector, balancing innovation in vertical with presentation of our rich biodiversity and safety of human and animal health is paramount.
Leading voices in the field engaged in thought-provoking discussions to explore innovative solutions to pressing biosafety challenges currently facing the globe.
One of the targets of our president is food security. And biosafety, biosecurity holds a very prominent role in this area of food security.
The conference offered the opportunity of bringing participants and stakeholders up to speed with contemporary issues bordering on biotechnology, biosafety, and biosecurity worldwide. In Abuja, Nta Daniels, Nta News.
The Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Special Needs and Equal Opportunities has formalized a Memorandum of Understanding with the African Unconquered Foundation. The move is to support Nigeria's wounded, injured and sick servicemen, servicewomen and veterans. Gufan Shaji Ugwai reports.
This partnership, guided by shared values of respect, inclusivity and dedication to a just society, aims to empower over 35 million Nigerians with disabilities. The goal also is to provide a framework for servicemen and women, reintegrate them into society, rebuild their lives and help them achieve personal empowerment.
We will achieve this through job creation programs, welfare support services, awareness and advocacy initiative, resources sharing, and rigorous monitoring and evaluation. As we formalize this partnership, I extend my deepest gratitude to the African Unconquered Foundation for their unwavering commitment to this cause.
And it is also aligned, obviously, with the President's mandate on renewed hope. And this brings renewed hope to these soldiers who might have felt left aside. And that's what brings more joy to us.
This commitment honors the sacrifices made by Nigeria's brave servicemen and women who have secured the nation's peace and stability at great personal cost. In Abuja, Gufan Shaji Ugwanyi, Nta News.
And that concludes the News Desk at 6 and Nta News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Olajide Bello.